That was so loud in my ears.
It was very loud at the beginning there.
Yeah.
Much more comfortable afterwards.
We're live, though.
Okay.
We're in. How you doing, man?
I'm fine.
Good.
Great. Yeah.
Good. It's good to see you.
Thank you. I know we were supposed to do this on Friday, and I bailed on you, so I apologize.
It
was a last-minute bail, too, which sucks.
You know, karma was a bitch, though.
Karma was a bitch. It was. It couldn't have been much more than 41 degrees out there, and it was freezing cold and raining.
It wasn't just raining. Like, it was
raining.
Pissing down rain.
Pissing it down for a bit there. I was soaking wet. And
so, you know me, I was sitting here going, I was laughing. I was like, well, I get it. He loves to golf, but, you know.
I am a fair weather golfer.
It wasn't fair weather, dude.
No, it wasn't. But I was playing with James, and I was like, I think I need to break this seal. I live in Oregon, and I should just get out there because I can play in the rain. And then I realized quickly I don't like playing in the rain. I don't want to play in the rain. So I, did 9 and called it a day. He did 36.
Really?
Yeah.
On that nasty ass day? Yeah, it rained all day.
I know. He played 36 holes. He really is looking to get the Creekside Championship this year. So he's working really hard.
Is that where you play? Was Creekside, not Illy?
Yeah, I played Creekside. I played at Illy on Saturday, though. It was nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a much better day to play.
It was. We had a lot of fun, actually. It was good.
Sweet.
Wow.
Well, let's talk crypto, man.
Okay.
I got one question for you first because I know you want to talk music because
I'll talk about whatever you want me to talk about. I can't guarantee that I know anything about it, but I'll talk about it.
Well, are we in a bull market or a bear market? What's happening right now?
It's a great question. I think we're in that sort of sludgy period where it could go either way. I mean, do you want a more on the fence answer? I think there's bright spots. I mean, Bitcoin is obviously doing its thing, and there was that little moment in my head where I was like, I hit 30, maybe it's going to jump to 40 really fast, or it's going to jump to 35 really fast, but it didn't, and it just kind of trucking along. And I think I saw that MicroStrategy, I guess, got back in the black today, so that's positive. I think
they're at 29.6 or something like that. Is their
watershed mark?
I think so. Yeah,
where they get back in the black. I saw. I think there's some good things happening around in terms of making people feel more confident. Do Kwon being arrested was a good one.
Oh, the dude, what's his name? Tron guy got arrested too.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. That was yesterday, I think.
Interesting.
Justin Sun.
Justin Sun?
Yeah, I think he got arrested as well.
So. I did not see that.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to have bad guys go to jail, I guess.
I mean, Justin Sun, he's a scammer from the get-go, dude. That guy, the stuff that he's done, he's made a boatload of money, had a ton of money, but he just didn't seem, he wasn't legit. Do Kwon, obviously, like that whole thing. The sad part about that is, it's such a religion, right? Like, there's people that still believe in Terra, UST. Like, they just, like, they're like, yes, the problem was all these other bad actors that were in there. The algorithm was correct. And I'm like, if it was correct, it would have been able to handle all of the bad actors and everything else that was going on. So it's really interesting, the psychology of people and how they, get in tight. We're all susceptible to it. I am to a point as well. It's like, try to not, but we're always going to fall into some sort of trap. But some people just get.
I think I've told you this before, but I can remember reading about a year ago. There's somebody who was like, "What is crypto? Crypto is it's like the Do Terra or it's an MLM scheme for guys in their 30s, essentially." And I see that a little bit. I've been guilty of it myself. I'm an evangelist for not just the technology, but also trading in cryptocurrencies.
100%.
And I look back on some of the things that I might have said to people, and I think, I kind of wish I'd said that differently, or at least stayed a little bit more tempered in my enthusiasm for some stuff.
I think as we've grown over the years, because we've been involved in crypto for a long time together, and we got excited. ICOs were the one. That was our like prime. We were so stoked about all the things that were coming out.
This one, I'm just
what was it? the original nodes. You had to stake. What did they call them? No, where you had to stake them. They called it a different thing. So basically, you had to put the token into it. It's called
what were they called? I can remember
some kind of node.
In,
what do they call it?
Yeah, I can remember one running in my basement.
Yeah.
And I felt like such a hacker because it was all in like command line prompts, and it was like, I'm posting this 4,000 whatever it was. I can't remember.
Yeah. I will say,
what was that?
I will say, one of the nodes that I got into, or one of the ICOs I got into. Sorry, that wasn't a node. Master nodes. That's what they're called.
Mm-hmm.
They're called master nodes. But it was this token was because I had a call center, and so there was a token built around call centers. It actually had great utility when I thought about it when I was in there, because as you know, call centers are very distributed, right? They have this, and they use, onshore will use offshore will use onshore. There's back and forth, and you're always trying to find, employees that are going to, call center employees, good ones that are going to be able to do a good job. And I'm not talking in your scam call center stuff, right? I'm talking about like legit call centers that do stuff. And so we had, so this token came out, and it essentially was going to be a payment token, which was across all of your different call centers, or to an individual. So you could be your own individual, employee, and then you go out and you're like, hey, this is what I do. Here's my talents, and you can get reviewed, and then people can pay you to work for them in any other place. So it really allowed you to, if you had a legit business and wanted legit callers, like you could, bring the best in and use that token as a cross payment platform. It was pretty cool. It's still around.
And what's it called?
I can't remember. I saw it like about 6 or 8 months ago.
Blake's on here. Can you look that up?
It was like it was weird.
It must have been what, 2015, 2016,
it was on,
around there? Or?
Oh no, it was 17. Is when it popped. It was late 17, early 18, I think, is when they dropped it.
Right.
And it was God, I can't remember. Anyways, it was on the ETH network, but then they flipped it to the EOS network, which is garbage. And then I think they went to a different network. So they're still around. They've moved it to 3 different networks.
EOS,
I have tokens
is
somewhere.
Those boomer coins, isn't it?
You know it. It's a dinosaur coin.
I made money in EOS.
Oh yeah,
I made money in EOS a while ago.
Those are fun times.
Yeah.
But we're in a new time. We've got new stuff. And one of the things that I know you're excited to talk about.
Isn't this the 4th time we've been in a new time?
Well, every time we talk is a new time.
Right. Okay. This is true. But I mean, like in a new market time, it's always it's still following the same.
The 4th one.
It's
the
like
4th one.
The 4th Reich of
the 4th Reich.
Whatever.
Oh God, it's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is our 4th cycle for crypto. We'll see if it kind of follows a similar pattern. It'd be great if it did.
It would be excellent if it did.
Excited.
I think I'm well positioned if it does.
Yes.
Very good. I did see that One Chain had a little bump this week.
Talk about dinosaur coins. There you go. One chain.
Highly manipulated by the Chinese government.
Obviously. Why wouldn't it be?
Yeah. Love that stuff.
But Gollum Music.
Yeah. I personally was quite impressed. I know that you were saying that there are some detractors from the technology, but I think in terms of serving up the tech debt in the time frame that they had to do it, and they filled a couple of big holes for me in terms of the actual proposition of the entire platform.
Okay. Yeah.
Which I think A, caught me off guard. B, I think that is it everything it should be? Probably not, but is it better than I was anticipating it being? Yeah, it is. It is better than I was anticipating it being. I think they still have a long way to go, but I think, if I looked at, my passion for Gala is on the other, I'm not a gamer myself. I mean, and so film and music were definitely very interesting to me. I think film could struggle a little bit here, but
yeah,
it's a slightly different proposition, partly because of the cost of making film as opposed to music, which anybody can make in their own garage, publish it, and now they have this monetization platform, which is just another alternative. They're not killing anything out there from a platform point of view, but it's a great option. And I think
It looks pretty.
It looks pretty, right? So the UI UX is pretty good.
Yep.
I thought I was actually very impressed. It was very simple for me. I have 263 tracks or something. I managed to get them all hosted in an afternoon, up and running.
All 263 you got hosted? Are you putting them on? How many nodes you running? You got all.
I got 10 nodes,
Okay.
but I had a lot of beams because I had been running them for a long time. So I
did you just
slots?
Did you add more? You added more slots?
Okay. And then I put some money in some of those artist pools up there, and
nice.
Yeah, I think a few of them are on the community players, but they're like 20 versions of some of that Snoop stuff.
Yeah, I know the Snoop stuff is ridiculous, right?
That whole Mount Westmore album, which seems to be doing pretty well. I'm just excited. I mean, I'm definitely going to buy David Bowie on Thursday. Only because I have a personal connection to it. It was the very first concert I ever went to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was David Bowie.
Dating yourself.
That's at Milton Keynes Bowl. I mean, I must have been 6 or 7, and my dad had me on his shoulders. I can just remember him wearing red shoes. So
that's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think it earns.
Years old.
It doesn't earn. So you're just buying it purely because
I have a personal connection to it, and I think it's great for Gala music to have that connection with Bowie.
That is, I like that. I like the idea of the big artist too, but I think you talk about the connection, right? And I think that's a big one for me of what this can do. Instead of making it in the next big thing versus Spotify or whatever else, which it's not going to be.
No.
They don't have the player. It sucks. It needs fixed. They need.
Well, that was one of the holes they fixed for me, and which I was not anticipating, which is the other DSP share link 50%. Reward thing. I think that's actually an incredibly genius way of solving a huge problem. Which is,
so when you say 50%, are you saying that that's going to the artist?
No, you get 50% of the reward on your node that you would normally do if
somebody's running it.
If the track is played on another DSP.
Yes.
And you use a share link that essentially is putting it through your node to that thing, and then saying, okay, well, that play on Spotify or wherever, it wasn't Spotify, it was YouTube Music and one of the others. Then you get 50% of what you would normally have been rewarded if it was playing directly off your node.
Which is great.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
And solves a huge problem for me when I was detracting from the entire platform 6 months ago. I was like, how are you even going to make this work?
We talked about that at length.
And they made it work.
They made that work. I think the idea of keeping it with this and bringing big artists they want to be here, that's fantastic. I love that, right? They're going to help push it forward into, everywhere it needs to be. But it's the local stuff. And you said it. Sure. You said it. It's anybody can make a track in their basement and play it, right? Well, let's let the people decide what they like. What are they actually going to play? So when they actually get a good player, so people can actually play it on their phones, in their car, or wherever they're going to go, let the people decide. That's where it's really going to be nice.
I couldn't agree more. And I think that ultimately what Gala, if they were thinking smart, would do is they'd have this kind of curated title kind of set here where they're working with artists and bringing on big releases to keep the energy up, but then they've got to have this like marketplace here. I've got to be able to upload a track, generate an NFT, I've got to put it up for sale.
Because here's their marketplace,
right?
Which is,
but it needs to be bigger and better than that.
I
don't know, and I don't know because I haven't. These are all still curated directly through Gala Music. What I mean is, they need an interface where I'm an artist, I can go in, add all my metadata that I need, upload my MP4, and generate an NFT that's then that has a set distribution on it.
Because right now it's just Gala being the gatekeeper.
Correct. Yeah.
Well, and I agree. They need to open it up to where, because I'm a beautiful artist, I can sing like a fucking angel, and I can't wait to release my track.
It's my Skepta face.
You just wait. It's going to be amazing.
You can sing as well as I can, dude, and you know it.
I'm going to release my track. It's going to sell out. It's going to be amazing.
I'll buy it just for the personal connection and the absolute humor of it.
But that's what I need, right? That's what I need, is that access to be able to get there.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
Upload my own stuff. You have to format it correctly, right? Everything has to be in there. And they'll have tools for you to be able to advertise yourself, to be able to, push it out to the people.
I'm not against an approval process either. I think that this is Gala going and finding music and music coming to Gala to get published. Whereas on the marketplace side, I think if I upload a track, yeah, it could go. It could. I mean, put an auto scanner on there, just like they do on some other stuff. It's like, does it? Is it? Is it literally just 30 minutes of hate speech, or is it, some just awful stuff that really isn't great for the ecosystem as a whole? And ban it or block it or say not approved. But ultimately, if you could flood this place, there's 10,000 artists ready and waiting to go publish an NFT of their music and have it hosted on the Gala Music node network.
Right. And they can't do that now because they don't have the player. They don't have the reach.
It's coming. I'm sure it's coming. I'm sure the roadmap is probably exactly where my head's going. I don't know.
Maybe. The roadmap kind of, it goes down a little weird side streets sometimes, or all the time. But it is, I'm excited about music. Don't get me wrong. I think there's a lot of back end stuff that people were talking about, like the who owns Gala Music,
right?
And then also the blockchain. Did you see that?
I did not.
So there was.
I've literally just been playing golf for weeks.
Why don't I get an invite to golf?
You do. It's a standing invite.
Standing invite.
Yeah.
All right.
You just have to let me know when you're.
I'm a fair weather golfer though. That's probably why we haven't golfed.
Yeah. We haven't golfed. I've golfed in
sucks.
Oregon twice in the last week. But yeah, I'm going where the sun is.
So the blockchain, the Gary blockchain is owned by a trust out of Switzerland called Ario Blockchain Trust or something along those lines. So people were all like, whoa, what? Who's this Ario Trust? Where's Gala? And it's really probably all a lot of insulation from all the U.S. stuff that's going on the sanction side and whatnot. But again, they're a private company. They don't have to communicate shit. They don't have to tell us anything. Which just, do your thing. But you're going to get people looking at
original proposition, but that's semantics, right?
That's that later. Exactly. Yeah, the whole decentralized,
corporate refugees.
The community is going to own it, kind of shit. Yeah, that totally didn't go down that route. So,
but I think there are some challenges of delivering along a strategy unless you have some centralization in there.
Well, and even recently with the Geary blockchain. I wish they would just change the fucking name so we can stop calling it Geary. They talked about that's the new roadmap for the community owning stuff. It's going to be ran by the community. It's not the Gala node stuff.
I can't see that coming.
I don't see it either. Like, so these are.
For starters, that's the majority. Paid engineers and developers to keep it moving in the right direction. And how does that structure work? I get it if it's DAO, and I understand some of that. Right. But I also think that there are performance concerns there. You still need old school departments that.
But you can run that with a DAO. I fully think you can run that with a DAO. Like. And this is all theory in my mind. Obviously, I haven't.
How about verification of talent and stuff like that? It's like, hey, this guy says he can do X. He's coming on. We're paying him 120 grand a year to do Y, and it turns out, dude doesn't even know what he's doing.
Then dude gets fired. So the idea would be
you're out tens of thousands of dollars at that point.
It's like a regular business, though. Same thing.
But you also lost a lot of traction in terms of actual development and technology development.
Just like a regular business. I mean, it runs just like a regular business. You have, when you look at how I envision the DAO structure being, it's not that the community votes on every little damn thing and every person that gets hired. It's I've got you in charge of talent, right? You're in charge of hiring all of my talent within this DAO, whatever that DAO may be. And, the DAO has vote in the beginning, you have to put people in those places, but ultimately you would be what the DAO is voting on in that position, right? You have shown that you can do X, Y, Z. As we go down the path of, every 12 months, you get a review, just like you would in a company. And who's reviewing you but the people of the DAO? And they decide he's done a great job hiring, he's done a shit job hiring, or, he's done okay. He's not going to get a pay raise. We need him to see X, Y, Z, right? And there's standards that get set about, and the people vote on that. And they're like, yes, we like him, we want to keep him. Oh no, we want to vote him out, right? Big issues that come about. Like we want to expand from music into rodeo clowns, right? We want to sponsor a bunch of rodeo clowns with that.
Obviously, you're talking my language.
I know.
Yes, finally, the rodeo clowns.
Rodeo the clowns are the way to be, dude.
You told me that was going to be years out, but apparently
it's coming now. It's coming.
Sweet.
We'll talk more on that next week.
Okay.
But
I'm going to Arizona. Do you need me to pick a couple up?
What that?
I'm going to Arizona this afternoon. Do you want me to go pick up some? Isn't that where rodeo clowns live?
Most of them, yes, because it's good weather. That's where a lot of bull riding happen. They'll migrate up here later.
Okay,
once summer actually hits.
You don't need me to bring any back.
But that's what the DAO would. They're going to vote on those type of things. It's not what are we having for lunch today? What's this kind of thing? Like, people think they're gonna a DAO is going to run where they're voting on every little thing.
I get it. I do get what you're saying, and I think that there is obviously a DAO is a sort of mirrored version of a traditional business. The problem, I think there's still some ironing out that needs to happen in terms of control, ego.
Yeah.
100% power dynamics that.
But again,
because you're I mean, essentially, if you look at the way Gala was built, and I was there from the very beginning. There's a few people, and then it was tens and 20s of people, and now it's hundreds of people.
But really, it's only one person.
Well, yes. I did see. I don't know if you saw this. I maybe should have forwarded it to you, but I guess Zynga just put out a bunch of hiring recs for blockchain gaming.
No,
they wanted a creative director of blockchain gaming. They've got a bunch of stuff out on Indeed and on LinkedIn looking for They're essentially setting up an entire blockchain gaming division.
Interesting.
Huh. Super interesting.
Wonder if they're gonna try and
curious.
Be like, hey, Eric, come back.
We know you. Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
That costs a lot of money. Interesting. Well, I think I've said this multiple times over in the last couple of weeks too. Is I've put out a light paper for a DAO, for a community DAO for Gala specifically.
Yep.
I think that's what Gala needs, and they need to bring back the community, right? They need to bring back what they lost because of the way they performed and acted over the last 18 months with a lot of shit that was not followed through on. They need to bring that back. And so that's part of where this community DAO is. And it's really based on more your indie games, right? Not AAA games. Now, it could definitely bring AAA games in, but it'll run as like a guild itself. It'll run as a community platform to promote people that are helping out the community, that are bringing projects that are moving the community along. Like my next podcast is with Lasagna, and he does VoxView, right? Or he's a part of the VoxView family that's there. You look at I can't think of his name right off the top of my head, but there's a lot of people that have built stuff around Gala, and they don't, outside of the hey, good job, pat on your back, they don't really have a say, or they don't have any kind of any reward system that's there outside of their own personal, which is fine in the business world, right? Like you put something out there that people can work on.
Is supposed to solve some of those issues though, because ultimately I think that the vision still was very much that they were going to you could essentially white label in Gala as a Web3 integrated socket layer via Geary. So if you developed an indie game and you wanted to make it Web3 compatible, or you wanted to focus it in Web3, Geary would be an option for that. So you would essentially pull in all the basic structures of that, and obviously some of that goes back to Gala or Rio blockchains or whatever they are over in Switzerland. And then it's kind of out of what do they call it? Turnkey.
Yeah.
It's a turnkey Web3 solution.
That's essentially what music is.
Add your icons or add your avatar things or your game components in there that are available for
anything you want. It doesn't even have to be games. It can be whatever you want, just using it on the chain. It's just
which could be huge if they get it right. You launch out a Web3 integrated socket that's just turnkey and instant.
I mean, it's just Polygon. It's Avalanche. It's Arbitron.
I'm not involved with Polygon.
I know.
Or Mac. I'm saying it could be huge for Gala and the Gala.
The problem,
Gala business, the Gala community, which is whatever is left of that, plus whoever. I think it is what they wanted to do. And yes, are they 2 years behind on it? Potentially, are they going to deliver it better? Maybe not. Maybe, who knows? But still, it's a big world, and there's a lot of people out there developing some stuff. And if they price it right and they make it simple enough and they make it slick enough, and the back end and the back
make it a true decentralized node network, because it's supposed to run on nodes supposedly. Make it a truly decentralized node network where you don't have a gatekeeper,
right?
Or if the gatekeeper's there, it's a DAO. It's not Eric.
And then it comes down to your politics of blockchain evangelism, right? It's like, well,
For sure.
what am I trying to deliver here? Am I trying to deliver
100% all the time, right?
multi-billion-dollar business or a multi-million-dollar business, or am I really trying to deliver a truly
He's already got the
product?
He's already got that. Gala.
Mhm.
Gala is that, right? So the Geary
I'm
blockchain.
talking about the indie developer though. It's
Oh,
like
gotcha.
If you're out there and you're saying, I could go Polygon, I could go Mac, or I could go Geary, even if they're in DAOs or if they're in developers, they're going to sit down and have that conversation. They're going to say, here are all our options. Which one are we going to commit to? Here are the reasons for committing to it. And if you go, our ethos is truly decentralized because we feel it's the right thing to do, or we think it's the better way forward. And 10 years from now is when it get played out. 5 years from now. It could be great for Gala because they'll still be
100%.
that Genesis developer of the chain.
Yeah.
But they're very similar. I mean, they're all very similar.
What they should do is they should give every founders node owner a license to operate a Geary node.
Can't say I disagree with that.
I mean, partially because I have a bunch of founders nodes, but
I have a bunch of founders nodes, and I would love that. That sounds freaking great.
Sounds great.
Please do that.
Well, what it does is
because originally that was the plan of buying the founders node in the first place, right? And if you're suddenly saying you're going to escape that clause and say, well, here's this other thing we built that was originally what we were going to build here, but you don't get that, and you have to come buy this. It's like, well, actually,
they've escaped a lot of clauses over the years, unfortunately. And that's, again, it brings me back to the whole DAO part, right? Like that's I love for them to give some power to the people for say, right? Like when let's take Spider Tanks, for example, because they just came out with their big update, right? Which was, 6 months too late or 3 months too late. They've been clamoring for things and talking about what we need and everything else, but it falls on deaf ears. You go to their Discord and nobody cares. It falls on deaf ears. But if you have enough people that actually hold enough sway, and this is essentially what a board would do if they took VC money and they had a board of directors at Gala, it wouldn't come down to one person, right?
It's internal oversight, essentially.
100%.
It's a adjuncted oversight thing. So if you have a 5013C, right, you have to have a board so that the board can hold
but they need that oversight, in whether it's VCs and having a board of directors, or the problem with the board of directors is you get to assign those board of directors, right? You're going to have your pick of the say. The nice thing about a DAO is it's the community, right? The community is going to have more of a say of what's really going on there. Do they know big business? Majority of them know, but do they know what they like and what they want to see and what is ultimately going to be good for the community? Yes, they are. That's them, right? And we'll see. I give it a 1% chance, right? I've given it to Brink, sent it to Brink. He says he likes it, but he's coming up against a roadblock, one big roadblock. And so he said, I just need to get you to sit down in front of him. I said, great, make it. Tell me when it is. I'll fly down there, right? And sit down and chat with them about what I think needs to happen and what we're ready to build. Like we've got it set up, ready to go.
Right.
I haven't gotten the call yet, so we'll see if we can just keep getting this out there for people to say, hey, get the sit down. Let's make this work.
Get the oversight DAO. Do it.
Are we going to call it the oversight DAO? He definitely will say no to that.
We're going to call it Rodeo Clowns. Rodeo Clowns United.
Done. All right. TM. Rodeo Clowns TM.
Rodeo Clowns TM. Love it. What chart do you have up on there?
That's Big Daddy Bitcoin, man.
I'm sorry, I can't even read. It's too far away.
Yeah, sorry. The screen's a little bit. You know what I should do is to make it so. Oh, we walked through the building yesterday.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah.
Is it good?
If you guys are still interested, there's the whole side. So there'd be half Black Harp, half, the law firm on the other half. The last names sound like a law firm.
Sean Scott. Their middle names for the record.
McCarthy Hill Law Firm sounds great, but it looks good. It's gonna be some really cool shit.
Can we maybe get a walkthrough on Monday after that meeting at 9:30 that we have?
Yeah, I'll talk to Chris.
Okay. Like at 11 o'clock.
Okay.
Or 11:30. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Love to.
We'll talk business after that.
Let's do that.
I know you're gonna have to go too. So.
Oh no! Look at Michael Barr. He's saying rodeo.
Rodeo Clown. See. Let's see. Deadly to the App Store worked out pretty well for Apple. Not much different. True. Other than Gala actually creating games. Well, I think there's a lot of stuff that we can unpack there. I think let's wrap up the music side. I think I agree with you. I liked the rollout. I thought it was their best rollout that they've done with any of their products, right? That they actually have something there that the nodes can play music. Maybe they're playing music. I don't know. But you have a player that's there. You're hosting music.
They're getting plays, so they're playing somewhere.
Somehow
right?
It's going through there.
My
There was a
statistics
block
tell me.
explorer. They released it.
Okay, I haven't looked
for
that
like
far into it.
10 seconds. So
I missed it. Damn.
It was very not very organized.
I've seen an internal screenshot.
I'm sure you
have. I have seen that, and I actually liked it a lot. I think.
Really?
Well, I actually I'll probably do. I need to check myself.
Yeah.
So I've seen some stuff which I
you don't know what everybody else has seen.
Shouldn't be talking about on this channel.
But it's anyway. So they released that. They have a lot of the I thought music. The rollout was good. There's a lot of back end stuff that people had issues with, like who owned the blockchain, why aren't we seeing this again? Are songs being played? How are they being played? Show us the actual block explorer so we can see what's going on here. There's so much that we could do with the block explorer. Give me a damn node so I can run it and I can make my own block explorer that's gonna be better than the stuff that they put out. I thought it was fairly crappy, to be honest with you, but that's beside the point. But I agree with you. I thought it was a good rollout, one of the betters.
And when you talk to the internal teams and building this stuff, there is only so much you can achieve in a time frame when you're also doing 110 other things, and it's
there's the problem,
right? But there's a problem there, but there's also this expectation that all of a sudden, once you get to a certain size, all things can be achieved in all directions within an instant, and that is just fundamentally not true.
Yeah,
technology does not work like that. Even in this day and age, it just does not work like that. It takes time, testing, QA, QC to get things the right way. And are they going to get it 100% right every single time, or even are they going to get it 100% right ever? No. Well, because everybody's always going to have an opinion.
Well, and to their, this is the thing for them as well, because the moment they do release anything, if it isn't perfect, people shit all over them, not understanding.
But that's the same for every business.
Oh, I know.
And it's just there's 10 different ways to skin a cat, right? You could.
Is there 10 or 100? 1,000?
I've never skinned a cat. There's a lot. You maybe have.
Big cat, yes. House cat, no.
Gross.
Best meat you've ever had in your life. No joke.
I've heard that, actually. I've heard that from some. It may have been you, but
it was probably me. But
I'm not sure.
I've heard it from other people, and then when I actually ate it, I was like, "This is actually amazing." Like,
if you ask me, dove breast is
that's really good,
delicious.
But they're so small. You got to have 8 million of them.
Yeah.
But they are good. I agree.
30 of them for single serving, but they are really, really good.
Well, let's wrap it up with some markets.
Okay.
We got because I know you're gonna have to run, but markets.
Do I look like I run?
Well, sorry.
Run anywhere.
I know you have to get down to your car to drive north to fly south.
I will do all of those things shortly. Yes.
So Big Daddy Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. Around that 30,000 mark.
Yeah, I mean we broke 30,000. This is a fun little heat map. That you can see is fairly accurate. This is basically the 20 weekly is what this EMA is, but the heat map is showing, overbought, oversold type of scenarios for areas of buying and selling kind of thing. So
it's pretty cold right now.
Yep. Dark blue, that's where you should be buying. Red is when you should be selling. So it never really got to red in this last little run.
Yep.
But overall, I mean, we looked at this, off of the lows and the 16K mark. This has been my target for months now, and
it's getting close.
Yeah, I think we get there pretty soon in the next couple weeks,
and then that turns into support, right?
And then that will turn. Actually, I think this is going to be resistance, and I think we're going to see this 25K be the next support kind of test, if not that 20-week EMA. But I think we got some room here, and it might be the old adage of sell in May and walk away. So
Sell in May and walk away.
That's an old legacy term, dude. Like
I've never heard that.
It's all, after taxes and everything else like that. Summer comes around and nobody's doing shit. Everybody's gone. So you sell in May and you go and, enjoy the beaches.
Do something else.
Do something else. So this is lining up for that same scenario, whether it happens or not. I mean, ultimately, I guess we're supposed to go to 1 million, right? Isn't that what's his name said?
Bitcoin at 1 million?
Yeah, Bitcoin to 1 million within 90 days. And I think he only has like 60 days left. Or
was it that one dude, McAfee?
No. Okay. He's dead. And he didn't eat his dick.
Is it Jamie Dimon?
No shit.
That guy doesn't know.
I can't remember his name. He's an old he's an old school Bitcoin guy. Smart guy. Like actually like very smart when it comes to markets and everything else like that. And it's purely just a marketing stunt for him to get more followers or whatever the hell he wants. I don't know why he's doing it. It's the fundamentally
is what they call it, right? Bitcoin to 1 million, see why, click on this, and it's just hot garbage.
Yeah, it's weird though. Like his theory behind why I feel is very sound, but the $1 million it's just not going to happen. Like in 90 days was just you'd have to get
from today. Is that what we're talking about?
Like no, this was a month and a half ago.
All right, well,
or a month ago.
Okay, that's not happening.
No, it was going to happen a month ago. It's not going to $1 million in 90 days.
It's probably never going to go to $1 million, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it could.
The U.S. government is selling everything from Silk Road. I mean, there's 10,000 Bitcoin coming, 11,000 Bitcoin coming on the market. It's not going to push it to $1 million.
Like, the U.S. is pretty much going down to a shithole. So whatever they do the opposite. So
done.
The U.S.
Been
dollar
doing that for a bit now.
Yeah. U.S. dollar is not looking good. So
yeah, I don't think Bitcoin's going to $1 million. Can we look at ETH? Because ETH's at like 19.
Look at ETH
right?
for sure. Oh, ETH looks delicious, dude.
Look at that.
That looks really good. I mean, it looks like it wants to lead Bitcoin, honestly, now. From here, this would be my levels that it would kind of get into. Sell a May, walk away.
Is there any way of making that screen bigger for me?
Oh, shit.
Still can't see it. Oh, man, I need to go get some of these glasses.
Let's see if I can do this here. Can I make this a full screen?
You're going to lose some of the other stuff, but
I don't know if I can make that for you.
Can Blake do it?
Let's do this.
There
you go. How's that?
That's much better. Thank you.
Now you can see that.
I can actually see some numbers.
Instead of us watching what everybody else is watching, this is what you can see.
This is what we want to see. All right.
So, 25.
I'm happy in and around that range.
2,500.
Sure.
That would be a top out. I mean, obviously you can rip higher, but I think once we get into that range, it's going to get frothy, and it'll be time to look for, kind of getting out and sitting on the sidelines a little bit. So,
do you still have any Materium? Are you still tracking Materium?
I sold all of my Materium
because it's having not a terrible week.
Where is Materium? I know I have it up here.
And the other thing I've been noticing recently is that I'm getting a lot of offers on some of my Walking Dead.
That's because it had a good playtest, dude.
Yeah, and I get a lot of them recently.
It had a good playtest. A lot of people are excited about it. I've got some ancient land that I'm probably going to offload some of it because I have too much of it.
Okay.
But I'm excited about it. I liked that game. I don't know if you did the playtest.
I think I'm just holding on to it for the moment, but I'm getting offers that are beginning to get attractive almost every day.
I haven't even looked at the offer sheet. I should look.
You should.
Yeah, Materium looks decent. 17 cents in the sense of the chart wise. Break that downward trend that it keeps getting rejected off here, and I think we get a nice little move up.
Okay, cool. I like Materium, of course. I did take a position in both Blur and Magic last time we were here, actually, which was a couple of weeks ago, right?
Yeah,
that's been doing quite nicely for me. I appreciate that.
Well, you were down in here when you bought, right, in the dollar range.
Yeah.
When we chatted about it, yeah,
right around there.
No, we're actually going to have an article come out on Magic, kind of some updates of what they've been doing. I like the way they operate. They got the largest, tied with another Arbitrum drop. So boatload that goes to the Treasury DAO for Magic or for treasure.lol so they can operate more add more to the community.
So I'm not going to talk about it necessarily. I saw, wasn't there a negative piece on Arbitrum?
On Arbitrum, yeah.
On
so
Arbitrum, yeah.
so they went, and so the Arbitrum DAO got a bunch of Arbitrum, right, in the whole distribution.
Right. And then they siphoned off a bunch of it.
Well, they didn't siphon, they spent it, which is supposed to. It's to operate DAO expenses, right? They spent it, and then they made a vote to say, hey, we need X amount to go into this whatever, the take out of the treasury so we can do expenses and this kind of stuff. And the community voted no on it. And they were basically like, well, we already spent it, so this was just, beside the point. And everybody's like, how the fuck does this work? Like, you guys are a DAO, like, what's going on here? So they're kind of backtracking a little bit, and so definitely a little bit of that, the issue there of it not being fully
decentralized.
Yeah, because I think that's just something you can actually implement into the votes, right? Like, you can't access said money until said vote is done.
Has turned into a majority vote of
Right.
whatever level.
Right.
You set those out as policies at the beginning, and then nothing can be released from that wallet without that.
So I think that's a huge
interesting
kind of red flag on that side. They're trying to backtrack. There's some people, explaining why it was okay, and I'm just like, I don't know. So, but we'll see. Blur looks like shit, though. By the way,
does it? Oh yeah, it's very small anyway.
Maybe I was a little too fast. I haven't looked at Blur in a while. That looks like a little bit more of a bottoming pattern than not, actually. So this could be my favorite pattern coming into play. This is all for Titan, by the way. Titan loves charts. He's going to be here in a week. No, end of the month. Should get a dinner together. He's a good guy. Big Gala community guy. Gives a lot of shit to Gala, though, which is good.
always in for dinners.
This would be a fun. This is my favorite pattern. We see this kind of play out. That'd be great, as long as we get off of this trend line here and not break below it and kind of go through. Yeah, I'd like that. I'd be okay with that. But I think it all runs with Bitcoin, runs with ETH as they move into their my little green boxes that are there.
You can never take. I mean, especially over the last 18 months, it's very difficult to separate just the market economics from the macro political shit. So stuff starts happening in and around there. Like, I think, was there an article that came out this morning that Taiwan said that the Chinese military operations or military exercises were a preparation for China going to war with Taiwan.
They do it all the time. That's the problem. So China's always doing military exercises. We do them as well. Russia does them. We see this stuff happen all the time. They were upset with the last one, from what I understand, because they went further into where the Navy was further in than they normally go, encroaching on Taiwan's space, this kind of stuff. It's all BS. It's all just part of the narrative.
It isn't, because I can remember thinking that about Russia and Ukraine, and then I was sitting in an airport going out of the country, and then all of a sudden that news dropped. You just never know, right? That's what I'm saying, is like you can predict all these as much as you can. It can run and run and run, but one incident globally can just knock it all back to zero.
Totally agree. Totally agree. And I think that unfortunately for me, the scary part is how does the U.S. get out of their dollar being demonetized or just looking like shit across the entire world and nobody using it anymore? France is, they're buying all their natural gas, not with U.S. dollars. Saudi is selling all their gas, to with the yen instead of U.S. dollars to different countries. How do they combat that? Right? What do they do? Like they're not going to be. It's not going to be a hey.
I genuinely do not have the qualifications to answer that question.
I don't either, and this is purely speculation.
Right.
But we haven't had a conflict, and the U.S. hasn't been in a conflict in a long time. What does the U.S. love to do?
Be in conflict. Well, the industrial military complex is America's engine, right?
And unfortunately, when you look at these major powers of Russia and China and them, kind of teaming up, it doesn't look good in my eyes of where that
But we
leads
still,
to.
I mean, ultimately, the world and the global community has grown to the point where we accept proxy wars as war. That is America's conflict as much as it is anybody else's, because it's the Western conflict. How do we get into this? This is supposed to be about cryptocurrencies and blockchain.
Stop talking about this shit. Anyways, have fun with the bull market that we're in.
Okay, so you're calling it, Nate.
No.
Fortune Crypto is calling it. This is the bull market.
I'm calling sell in May and walk away. That's what I'm calling.
So it's a very short bull market.
Yeah, and it's basically the same thing I've been saying for months. Like we have this move up. This is following a similar cycle. We've seen that
before, though. In every other cycle, I think I would say. I'm not saying every other cycle, but certainly I remember it in previous cycles where it did feel like it was getting up there, comes back down, and then you really kind of ramp up into that December, January kind of.
Here's where I think we're at. Right. So this is 2018 similarities. You can look at the similar patterns beforehand. Right. So we're in this area here. Okay. I think we got to move up, disregard the black swan. Right. I think we pull back and then we move up. Right. So when you look at time frame that is, from here to here, this is in the months or 670 days. So you're looking at, 18
we did a bunch
months
of that math a while ago
18 to 24 months
on one of these podcasts as well, right?
Yep. So I think we're sitting in that same range of that 18 to 24 months of what this part of the cycle, right? We've kind of had this run up. We're going to see some downside and consolidation, and then another move back up. Barring any, like you said, major world conflict thing that's going to happen, I think we have some fun times ahead of us. There's going to be some sideways action, and people are going to get angry and think we're still in the bear market and not buy the dip.
What about aliens?
Aliens are real, bro. Come on. The U.S. put it out in 2020. That's one of my favorite comedians is Nathan Bargatze. Go watch him on Netflix.
I've seen him.
He comes out and he's like, 2020 is a weird year. This resonated because I had been saying this forever. He's like, 2020 is a weird year. He's like, what other year can the U.S. government come out and say aliens are real? And everybody's just kind of like, whatever. And it's like,
figured.
It's like, no shit, right? Yeah. But he says it much better. He's a comedian. He's actually funny, unlike myself. So
I saw some comment on, we don't need to get into it, but I saw some comment on Reddit. It was like, I didn't have waking up with the Dalai Lama darkest timeline on my 2023 bingo card.
Was that not the most disturbing thing ever?
Here?
Was that so disturbing?
So fucking weird and bizarre. I don't know.
What is happening?
It's weird.
Oh, dude, every time. Well, I know you got to get going, man. I love talking to you. We'll get you back on again, obviously. So you and I are talking about some fun stuff next week. So we'll have to get you and Chris in here.
Chiming in. I feel like Ukraine has been a proxy war since 2014.
It's true. I mean, the whole region right there, when you talk about Georgia, Ukraine.
Well, I had to move because the proxy was in Afghanistan and Syria and etc. Now
the whole area.
I
was there. I was in Bosnia. I mean, it's the same thing. I was there in 2007. No, when did I graduate? 2000. I'm not that young.
I was gonna say
1996. I graduated. I was in Bosnia in 97. 97. I can't remember the actual time frame, but I was there for 8 months, and it was. I mean, there was Russians on one side and Americans on the other. Even though we were in Bosnia, and it was the Serbs and the Croats is basically, and they separated them out, and you had Russia. You go up and you'd have these full on checkpoints. Well, it was a Russian checkpoint, and you had Russian, forces on one side and you had U.S. on the other side. And it was like, this is interesting, but yet it was a NATO ran situation. NATO was a big part of it. It was like the stabilization force, initialization, then stabilization. It's all weird. It's all political. It's all bullshit. So it's like,
just make money and play golf, dude.
Done, man. Done.
Occasionally eat food. We can have lunch.
I like food too.
Or something.
And drinks.
Yeah. Some whiskey or something.
All right, dude.
All right.
It was really good talking to you.
Likewise.
Blake, send us out, man. All right. You guys take care.